Welcome to my breakfast nook for another Tarot Tuesday. I hope that made you a little uncomfortable. Anyway, so today for Tarot Tuesday I wanted to do something a little bit easier and maybe a little more fun than just listening to me talk about the symbolism in the cards for like 5 hours. So today I want to show you a few of the tarot spreads that I use, which is also going to give me the opportunity to showcase some of my favorite tarot decks. I have a lot. I have like a 20-gallon tote full of tarot decks. If you have a problem like that, it's okay. I understand. Ha! So, I think the best way to do that is to magic our way over to hovering above the spread cloth. And then we can talk about all that stuff. Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. All right, see you on top of the table. Okay, welcome to the spread. So the first deck that we're going to be using is the Deviant Moon borderless edition, because the borderless edition is wicked cool. So before we start, always make sure to have your pendulum present, or your runes, or whatever you're using to kind of double check yourself if you need to. And your deck. Remember that the way that I clear them before every reading is to knock on them and then blow. Then we're just going to shuffle. Shuffle 3-ish times. Cut the deck. And we're going to check out the card on the bottom, which is the 7 of Pentacles. And this just kind of gives you a theme for the reading. So the 7 of Pentacles reversed is basically not tending to what needs to be tended to, and not putting away for a rainy day, that kind of thing. There's not enough resources to go around, which right now kind of makes sense. So then from the top of the deck, we'll lay 1 card, 2 cards, 3 cards. And then you just put the deck somewhere a little out of the way. So a 3-card spread could be past, present, future, or it could be internal circumstance, external circumstance, and the results of those circumstances. It could be someone close to you, yourself, and someone coming into your life. Like, there's all kinds of ways that you can read a 3-card spread. It's kind of up to you. Another way you can do it is just to kind of look at them and see what they have in common here. So like you can see this genie character is the same colors as this vortex this cosmic vortex inside of the Ace of Pentacles. And all of these are upside down. So one of the ways that you can interpret that is that you were holding the deck upside down, and so you can turn them all right side up, totally acceptable. Or you can read them all as a subconscious issue. So this is something that isn't present to mind. So this genie, the Nine of Cups upside down, reversed, is kind of like a loss of gratitude or a loss of something that has led to an inability to kind of see where things are good for you. And then the Ace of Pentacles reversed is a loss of resources. And so I would link these two together because of the imagistic thematism. Let's just make up words while we're here. It'll be fun. And so it would be like this loss of, especially the source of resources, that leads to a time of despondency and not being able to see the good stuff. And then you've got the Ace of Wands reversed, which is like snuffing out your inner candle. The fire under your butte has become snuffade, and it's hard to find the will to carry on. And so just by blending together the imagery and the traditional meanings and kind of like having a feel, a comfortability with the tarot can lead to some pretty interesting readings using really just a 3-card spread. So let's do another one. And actually, instead of Deviant Moon, I want to showcase a couple of decks here because they're pretty. They're very pretty. Let's see. Well, I've got a couple up here. So this is another one of my faves. This is the Gilded Gustav Klimt deck. I think you can still get it online. I'm pretty sure the Deviant Moon you can also get online still. Okay. Let's check out that bottom card, which is the Ace of Wands again. Oop, got some glare. There's a glaring issue. Okay, so the Ace of Wands is the bottom card for us. And then we're going to go ahead and turn these over. And we're just going to do the 3-card spread. And we've got the Star, the 5 of Cups, and the Magician. So these are interesting cards together. So these two are Major Arcana cards, and every time you have a Major Arcana card in the deck, or in your spread, that is something to pay close attention to, because the Major Arcana deal with major stuff, major parts of what you're asking. The Minor Arcana cards are also very important because they tell about kind of more everyday stuff, but they can be pretty good at getting to deeper issues. So in this spread, we have the Star, which is kind of similar to the Magician. But you've also got this figure holding a mask, and this figure holding a person, this figure holding a bowl, so they're all holding something. And so that kind of speaks to me of these people, this person, this querent, whoever that is, having the situation in hand. So this is something that they can handle. It is about manifesting dreams even in the face of great tragedy. So something may have occurred that is deeply troubling to this person and making it difficult for them to really feel like they can succeed. So in this spread, I'm going to show you another example of something. So say my client is like, oh, well, I've had a lot of tragedies. Which one? So what you're going to do is just kind of feel through the deck. Really feel for it, though. Don't just grab at random. Feel for the right card. Which one is really speaking to you? And then pull it out and lay it down on top of that other card. And what we get is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is a card about dreaming. It's kind of like the castles in the clouds kind of card. And this one you can see maybe if you zoom in, she's got kind of like a lucky wish dragon up here. So to me, this would say that the dream that this person is having or the reason this person is having difficulty manifesting what they want in their life, really feeling like they can live what they want or pursue what they want, is because one or multiple people have told them that they are incapable of doing it, that they need to get their head out of the clouds. And so they pulled their head out of the clouds without bringing their dreams with them. So this is their opportunity to bring the dream down to earth. And it's the reader's job to kind of support them through feeling like they can do that. Kind of supporting them through understanding their power and their capability in living whatever life they want to live. And of course, it's not your responsibility to make sure that that happens or anything. That's totally up to them. The important thing for the reader is just to hold the space and hold that space in respect and sacredness and in an empowering way that allows that person to process through what you're saying in a way that resonates in a healthy way. And if they're still having trouble with it, then do another spread. You can do as many spreads as you want. Okay. So another example. This is the Waite Smith deck, the Centennial Edition, where they returned all of the colors and everything to Pamela Coleman Smith's original facsimile copies. This is another way that you can shuffle. Doesn't really matter how you shuffle. Okay. So say I flip some cards. I flip the 3 cards. And it's like, oh, wow, that doesn't make any sense. Then it's totally okay to just clear the spread, reshuffle, and do another spread. You don't have to torture yourself trying to find meaning in a spread that might actually be meaningless. You don't have to do that to yourself. Okay. So this is a tarot pouch that I made for the deck that I was using pretty heavily. It's pretty cute. It's got a little spider. Can you even see that? Oh, look. It's a spider! Which is the back of the cards, actually. The back of the cards have spiders on them. And this is my reproduction copy of the Sola Busca Tarot. This is one of my favorite decks. So the way that I prefer to read tarot is by looking at the cards and just seeing them as kind of an overall painting. I like to look at them like I'm looking at a painting. And one of the spreads I do that helps me do that is what I call the triangle. It's basically a version of the tetractys spread. So the card on the bottom is the 9 of discs, which speaks to kind of enjoying what you've got. And so we're going to lay down I guess this actually is the tetractys spread that I just laid down. Which is 10 cards in the shape of a pyramid. The first row is 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. And so with this, there are traditional meanings for the positions, but I can never keep them straight. So I just read it like I would any piece of art. And so we're looking for correlations in the spread. So like we've got discs here, and we've got cups here and here. We've got some cool major arcana cards. Here is Justice, we've got the Hermit, we've got Strength. I'm just going to pull this one out to show you because Strength is hilarious. It is a dude shaking seeds out of a baby over a fire. Man, crazy shit. The tarot is crazy. We've also got the World here. So there's a lot of major arcana cards that are speaking to balance and compassion, especially in the face of isolation that may not have been chosen by yourself, sort of like this ostracized feeling. See, so the tarot knows. The tarot's picking up on the energy in the world today. Feeling a little cray-cray. Let's see, we've also got the 5 of Wands over here and the 9 of Swords. The 5 of Wands is basically like conflict, and the 5 of Wands is reversed, is conflict that leads toward resolution. It's a necessary conflict. And then the 9 of Swords reversed is basically anxieties that have actual reality. So it's not not that all anxiety doesn't have truth in it, but this is like an imminent threat that's causing anxiety. Possibly a pandemic. Who knows? Who knows? And you've got the 6 of discs, and here we have the 10 of discs. The 6 of discs upright is generosity. The 10 of discs upside down is kind of like the household topsy-turvy. The ability to keep a happy household is more difficult now. Let's see, friendships kind of turned upside down, but again, we've got the 7 of Cups, which is about dreams. So what this spread would be talking about, if I had someone in front of me, what I would say is that we're in a time of conflict, and there are present to hand very real world reasons for that to be happening. But it's also really important to be maintaining balance and maintaining our relationships, even though they may be a little bit off right now. They don't feel quite the same. It's also important to be really gentle with yourself, especially because the household might be difficult. And it's really important to be generous with yourself right now. And all things are leading toward balance, but balance in a new way. In a way that may not be recognizable at the end of it all. So that's a tetractys spread. If I were doing the triangle spread, like I said I was going to do, it's just using one card less in each of the rows. So you just end up with 1, 2, 3, 2, and 1. And that's it. That's the only difference. Okay. But these spreads I think are really useful because they allow you to just kind of intuit and feel out what the cards are trying to tell you. And again, it is really important to understand the traditional meanings of the cards, but also to take into account the imagery on the cards themselves. So here in this one, we've got the 4 of Wands, and it's this guy wearing wands in his hat that looks kind of like a little dragon. Fun stuff. The 2 of Coins, this one is the 7 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the 4 of Cups. And so, like with this one, the 4 is traditionally about like celebration. It's also a card relating to marriage and stuff. To putting a lot of energy into celebration. But here he's got the wands on his little hat, which is like your celebration. That energy for celebration is coming from within, from this fire in the head. Okay. So let's see. So those are some pretty easy spreads that are useful. And then I'm going to show you a cool spread that I enjoy, which is for making decisions, which some of you may want to do right about now. Figure some shit out. Okay. So this next deck is called the Marigold Tarot by Amrit Brar. Definitely used that one recently. And I don't use all of my decks all the time. I have 2 or 3 that I continuously go back to. And then sometimes I feel like shifting it up and go get one out of the tote. Okay. Ooh. Death. So meaningful. Okay. So say I want to make a decision between doing something and not doing something. The way that I would do that is lay down one card. I usually put it on the left, just to kind of signify the situation. This is the Wheel of Fortune reversed, which is always a good card. The Wheel of Fortune is always a good card. It just speaks to cyclicity and good timing and benefit and that kind of thing. So then the upper row would be, what if I did do this thing that I'm thinking of? And the next card is, what if I don't do this thing? What will the outcome be? And what can I expect in my life from either one of those things? So the doing of the thing looks pretty good, and the not doing of the thing looks pretty not good. So I would say do the thing. Do the thing, Julie. So the Six of Wands is a card speaking to victory and wholeness, completeness, freedom through action. Temperance is kind of balance and moderation and that kind of thing. So if you do it, you're going to have to be moderate in the way that you are doing it. You can't just go fully gung-ho. You've got to be careful. Get that pitcher pouring into that bowl. Don't let the pitcher water go all willy-nilly everywhere. And then you've got the Ace of Swords, which is also good. That's clarification, like clarity in thought, clarity in the ability to see how things are going for you. You know, that kind of thing. It just started snowing outside, which has distracted me a little bit. Back to it. So the Page of Swords is kind of, and the Page of Swords reversed is hesitation on new thoughts. So if this was something, if I had someone in front of me, I'd be like, why are you hesitating on doing this? What are the thoughts going through your head that are making you think that it's not a good idea? The Five of Cups is grief. And they can be really deep griefs, or they can be kind of spilled milky feelings. And then the Queen of Rings upside down is not feeling nurtured. So if they didn't do this, it's kind of like their ability to nurture themselves and maybe even to nurture others would be made more difficult. But this, if they do it, things will become more clear and they will actually be victorious in doing it. Now might not be the best time for it. And if I was going to do that, I would do another clarification card. And the Three of Rings. So the time isn't right because they haven't built up the structure for it yet. Maybe they don't have the right schooling, or maybe they don't have the right tools. Maybe they haven't talked to the right people yet. There's all the puzzle pieces aren't there, is how I would read that one. Okay, so that's a basic decision spread. Another way to do a decision spread is just to label a couple of cards. Let's do another deck. I've got a whole chair full over here. This one is called the Magical Forest. And it's flippin' cute. Okay. Cut that deck. Oop. The Five of Pentacles reversed. So someone's not looking for the help they need. Help is there, but they are refusing to acknowledge it. Okay. So say my client is asking me, where should I move? I want to move, I'm planning on moving, but there are like 4 different options. And we'll say Espanola, Ruidoso, Tucson, and Denver. Then we're going to ask, what is the overall benefit of moving to Ruidoso, Espanola, Tucson or Denver. What are the overall cons? And what's the kind of outcome? Aren't these adorable? These cute, weird little animals. So, literally all of these are upside down, which makes me feel like I need to read them right side up. I haven't used this deck in a while, so I might have actually rearranged it manually, which is one of the ways to clear your deck, just putting it back in order. But there's a pretty good mix of things, so maybe I just turn them all right side up. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a while, Queen. Okay, so we've got the Magician here in Espanola, which is hilarious. But that is a good indicator that moving to Espanola would be awesome for this querent. So actually for you guys, they're right side up anyway, so let's just leave it that way. Then here you've got the 9 of Wands. And the 9 of Wands is saying that perhaps in, or no, this one was Ruidoso. So in Ruidoso, there might be some good stuff. And Ruidoso is a beautiful place. Espanola might bring up some deep traumas that they may not be ready to process quite yet. The 6 of Pentacles is generosity, so maybe in Tucson they would be able to find a good job. It would be a place where they could find good resources, that kind of thing. And then over here is the 8 of Wands, and that would be quickness. The 8 of Wands speaks to quickness and travel. So if they moved to Denver, what they are trying to accomplish would happen quickly, but perhaps too quickly, because here the con is the 8 of Swords, which is Puss in Boots, blindfolded and surrounded by swords. Yeeha, yeeha. So that's feeling like entrapped. In Tucson is the opportunity to find chemistry. And that could be chemistry with a lover, or it could be chemistry with like a business partner. Here in Espanola is the Lovers. And the Lovers are speaking here, I would say, to pretty heavy decisions, not necessarily relationships. Especially because you've got the 8 here, the 8 of Cups, which is about leaving things behind. So I feel like if they moved to Espanola, they would really need to leave it in the end. In the benefits position is the Chariot, which is the ability just to go. So Espanola would be easy. And if you would need a place to go easily, then great, go to Espanola. Over here, we've got Death. Oh my god, look at this card. Look at that pig's face. It's like, take me, I guess. I always knew death would come. Is that you, Death, my old friend? Okay, so in Ruidoso, they've got this Death card, which is a lot of change, a lot of transformation. It may be too much for them at first, and that's okay too. Strength here is finding compassion for yourself. So those transformations would help you to find the strength within yourself, to be kind to yourself and to others. And then over here, we've got the 2 of Wands, which is the ability to kind of figure out where to put your energy next. So maybe Ruidoso is a good stepping stone for them. It looks like Tucson would just be overall a great choice. And Denver might be a little bit harder, a little bit entrapping, and they'd have to be much more cautious with the way that they're using their resources with energy. It's very expensive to live in Denver. Okay. So I told you guys to have your pendulum ready. So this is the way that I hold my pendulum. So this is the fob. You just wrap it around your fingers and then leave a couple of inches of chain between that and the pendulum, and then let it hang very loosely over your hand. And then for me, this back and forth, pinky to thumb, is a yes, and along my fingers is a no. So I would, if I was really needing to ask for clarity here and my clarification cards weren't working, I could use my pendulum and say, well, is Ruidoso a good choice for them? And the pendulum swings yes. And would Espanola be a bad choice for this querent? It actually says no, which is funny. Tucson. Would Tucson be a good choice? Yes. And would Denver be a good choice? No. And then you can ask more questions like what percentage, or in the language of percentages, what amount of beneficence or beneficence could the client find in Ruidoso? And that's a firm 70. And then Denver, ooh, Denver's like a 30. And we already know that Denver's not going to be great. So what about Tucson? Tucson's like a 60-ish. So I would say Ruidoso is the best place to start for my client, and then maybe that's a jumping point to Denver. But that's totally up to them. That's what I interpret the cards as saying. And then it's up to them to decide what they want to do. As a tarot reader, you do have a lot of weight with your client. And so it's important to make sure that they know this is just what the cards are saying. The rest is up to you. Okay. And then one of the other spreads I like and wanted to show you is the relationship spread that I use. And there are multiple ones that I use, but this one is the most common one. So this is a tarot deck called the Wildwood. Another indie deck, and they are just beautiful. They're just beautiful. More animal themes. I really like animal themed cards. Okay. Okay. So the bottom card is the Seven of Blooms. I'm pretty sure in this deck blooms are cups. So this would be another card about visions. Visions. Vision. Vision. Okay. So in one column, we have the querent and the person that they are asking about. So already I'm kind of like, are you sure you want to do that? So the Four of Plumes, and this level is where they are on a mental level. This person is seeking a time of respite. Like they've been overthinking things. Mentally they're tired. They just need to kind of process some stuff and chill. And then this one is someone who is out of balance emotionally. Or not out of balance emotionally. They're just not understanding their emotions very well, and it comes out in perhaps an aggressive way. And then on a heart level, we've got the Hanged Man and the Tower. So this is, the Hanged Man is someone who is willing to do like anything in this, like that's how I read it in light of this card. This person is willing to do anything, to sacrifice himself for this relationship. And this is someone who is in a time of catastrophe in the heart, which probably is why their emotions are all wild. So already I'm seeing like codependency and emotional wreckage as a result of this relationship. Then we've got the Six of Blooms reversed and Judgment reversed. So the Six of Blooms reversed here, this is on a physical level. This is someone who is not feeling necessarily generous or in the mood to give, and that's totally fine if you don't want to give your body. And then this one is someone who's just feeling a lot of traumas coming up in the body. And perhaps that's leading to this reluctance to be physically available. Both of these people have a lot of work to do before this relationship will work. And then you can do clarification cards in a special way here. And that's how are they meeting here? So the way that I read these sideways cards is if I turn it to the right and it's reversed, then it's a reversed card. So if the top of the card is pointing to the right, it's reversed. If it's pointing to the left, it's right side up. So the Eight of Stones reversed. Stones in this deck are wands. So this is reversed. You're going too fast. You need to slow down. The Two of Bones is the Two of Pentacles, traditionally. And so this would be in the area of the heart with each other. Really watch your energies. Watch where you're putting your emotional resources, because you don't want to put too much in, especially when there is this this quaking, this fractured moment. And that's not to say don't be nurturing and supportive, but don't sacrifice everything that you are in this relationship. Find healthier ways for each other. Be there in a healthy way. Because this row is telling me that this person wants to give everything in a very unhealthy way. And this person is not in a place to accept that. And both of those things are valid, but we have to recognize it so that we don't make decisions that are detrimental. And then here we've got the Sun. So on a physical level, these people are doing the right thing. They are probably showing these feelings in a way that makes their boundaries clear, and is shining light on the situation, which is probably why your client has come to you in the first place asking what's going on. And the Sun in this deck is saying this is not necessarily a bad relationship. It may be a bad romantic relationship right now, but that doesn't mean that it's a bad friendship or that you can't be there for each other. You just have to really watch what you're doing how much you're giving and how much you're willing to sacrifice. Are you holding appropriate boundaries? Are you making sure that you aren't becoming entrapped? And not by this person, but by yourself. Are you entrapping yourself? And is this person over here conscious of what's happening? And then you can flip cards to ask, like, are you conscious about it? Are you conscious about it? And here I would say this person is less conscious about what's happening, but they're getting there. And this person is conscious of what's happening. And they're trying to be nurturing about it. They're trying to set appropriate boundaries, but it's really difficult. And that both of those are valid ways of being. Okay. So those are just a few of the spreads that you can do. Try them out. See if you like them. We'll have another Tarot Tuesday talk. Let me know what you think about this one. Again, exclusive content is going to be coming out on Patreon. I've already got a video up about the inner symbolism of the devil and its links to the Shekhinah, and some other stuff about the devil and how I interpret the devil and how much I like the devil and, you know, that kind of thing. So that video is in full up on Patreon. There is a clip on YouTube if you want to check it out and see if it's something you'd be interested in. On this YouTube channel, please like and subscribe and share as much as you want. Share it to everyone. Share it with your grandma, share it with your friends, share it with, I don't know, Cardi B. She seems to be doing a lot of work in the community. Anyway, so I enjoyed this. I hope you did. Have a great day. May we meet in the twilight. See you later on another Tarot Tuesday.